This podcast is brought to you by Shield Bearers. Shield Bearers is a consulting agency helping churches and religious organizations protect parishioners from active shooter situations. They provide trainings to your team, help create systems, and implement safety measures to protect your house of worship. To follow them on Facebook, they're at Shield Bearers Consulting, or to contact them directly, dial 609-232-2711. 609-232-2711. My name is Jose Vargas, and I am on a mission to help you create breakthroughs in your personal and professional life so that you can grow and lead your life with excellence. Welcome to the Jose Vargas Show. This podcast was created for leaders to help leaders strategize to create breakthroughs so that you can lead yourself and others effectively. I am your host, Jose Vargas. Thank you so much for listening. And will you do me a favor before we begin? Would you leave me a review and hit the subscribe button wherever you listen to your podcast or even on the YouTube channel? In this episode, I'm going to give you the formula that you need in order to make it as you encounter obstacles on your way to your goals in your leadership and in your life. What if you were left stranded in a jungle? Now, you heard the birds chirping in the background, you see the rodents sneaking around, and you have no idea which way is out. Now, many of you listening will probably just be just fine, right? But when I coach someone, I often show them a picture of a black and white picture of a wooded area, a jungle. And I ask them, what do they see? They often say a dark place, a place where there's a lot of different dangers or animals running around. They say things like, there's obstacles in the way. I see a little trail, but there's obstacles in that trail. And the reason I share this is to illustrate the life of the leader, their life, and your life, and my life. Oftentimes we find ourselves deep in the woods, so to speak, with what seems to be innumerable problems and obstacles along the way. And I know for me, I have oftentimes felt that way, right? Felt lost in what seemed like a jungle, and the sound of fear and doubt were loud within me, the sight of failure before me, and the question, what do you do, is echoing in my mind. I was driving home one day working after working a busy midnight shift, and rumors, and many of you probably heard this, but many rumors of a coming layoff for less senior employees of our police department were circulating like wildfire. And I left the department that morning where I had worked for the past 2.5 years with some concern, but I find myself thinking like, hey, I can't possibly be laid off, right? Most employees who were laid off receive a pink slip notice 45 days earlier, and I definitely didn't receive one of those awful slips, so I was good. At least I thought I was, but I was wrong. On my way home, I received a call from the director's office, and a friend of mine who were friends to this day, he informed me, he said, Vargas, you have to come back and turn in all your equipment. I'm sorry, but you've been laid off. And just like that, I knew my life changed. I remember my heart sinking deep within my chest as I hung the phone and, I turned around my little 1998 Honda Civic as I headed back to the station with just disappointment in my heart. And I just felt the weight of it at that moment. Somehow I knew everything was going to be fine, but I still felt a little worried. And so many questions flooded my mind. How would I pay my bills? How would I pay this new mortgage for this new house that I just bought? How embarrassing. What would happen? And as you lead your life, you will go through moments of challenges. That's not a revelation, right? You already discovered that. But how you respond as a leader is what makes the difference. After turning my equipment in, I knew that I couldn't sit at home and have a pity party, even though honestly I wanted to. But as a leader, you can't always do what you want to. But you must always do what you have to. And I had a huge problem to solve. My mortgage statement was my reminder. So what could I do? And as I reflected on this, I followed the same lead through method that I'm sharing with you. I knew where I was. I knew what led me there. I knew what I wanted and why I wanted it. And I found myself in this hard place. And I had to juggle answering these questions all while still moving forward. I was a youth pastor at the time. I was leading people. And I had to keep my heart pure so that I can continue to serve people well. So the question that I have for you in this episode is this. What action steps will you take in order to overcome the challenges and objections towards your goal? One of my favorite Bible verses is this. Faith without works is dead being alone. Let me put it to you in a little mathematical equation here. Faith plus your actions equals real faith. I'm going to say that again. Faith plus your actions, what you do, equals real faith. In episode 6, if you go back to it, you identify the challenges or obstacles and the crisis that could arise and that you will have to overcome in the process of leading your life forward. I laid out how it could feel while you are in those challenging moments, and I call them wilderness seasons of life. And I laid out 5 things that a wilderness season of life will teach you if you are open to learning from it. So I highly encourage you, even if you're not in a wilderness season of life right now as a leader, go back to it and listen to it, because you're probably going to need it, because you will be going through a wilderness season in your life at one point or another. And although I stress the importance of identifying your obstacles, I must equally stress that focusing on your obstacles is harmful for your progress and your success. And there is a distinction. Identifying them is knowing what they are or what they could be, right? And what you will have to do in order to overcome them. But focusing on them will cause paralysis. It will cause stress in your life. It will cause worry in your life. And we don't need any more stress, and we don't need any more worry, all right? So I want to liberate you from more stress and more worry. Right? I don't want you to focus on your obstacles. I don't want you to focus on your problems. Focusing on them will make them bigger than they actually are. And I'm not minimizing them, but I'm just saying not to focus on them. I want you instead to focus on what God already placed inside of you. Your strengths, your talents, your gifts, your abilities. Focus on your relationships in your life. Focus on your faith in God. Shift your focus to the reason why you must overcome this challenge and what you already have at your disposal to use. Focus on why you must lead your life forward and why must you overcome this obstacle in order to get to your destination. And this is why it's so important at this stage in the process of you getting your breakthrough to go back to the foresee it stage number 4. Right? On why do you want it? Because it is going to fuel you. It is going to give you the strength that you need internally in order to help you overcome these obstacles that are going to come along the journey. So I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to stress, but I want you to focus on why you're able to do this, on why you can do it, right? Don't focus on the limitations. Instead, focus on the possibilities. And I know that sometimes that's easier said than done. But I want you to pause right now and I want you to focus on the possibilities in your life. And in this episode, I want to help you step back. I want to help you gain clarity, and I want to help you face the challenges in your own life and in your own leadership or in your own organization. And I want you to focus, and I want you to lean into it with a plan and with a purpose. So now that you know the challenges or the obstacles that you will likely confront, now you can formulate a plan on how to overcome these challenges that you're gonna have to overcome along the journey. You know that the road ahead might have what I call in my book, The Detour, unexpected twists and turns, so that you can plan accordingly to face them with clarity, focus, and determination. All right. So I don't want you to lose heart. I want you to step forward knowing that some of this is going to be there. Some of these obstacles you're going to you're going to have obstacles, and you're going to overcome them. And you're going to make it towards your goal and objectives if you do not give up along the way. So let's go back for a moment to my opening remarks. What if you were left stranded in the jungle? And perhaps as you're listening today, maybe you're on a treadmill, maybe you're on your way to work, maybe you're just listening to this as you're just sitting there, but perhaps today you feel like life is a jungle for you. You feel like the pressure to perform, the goals to accomplish, so many problems within your organization or maybe your own life, and you don't know how to get out of it. You know, you've identified where you are in episode 1. Make sure you go back to listen to that. You know what has led you there and what not to continually do in order to get different results in your life. Listen to episode 2 for that one. You know what you want. You've dreamed, right? And if you want to listen to that, listen to episode 3. You said why you want it. Episode 4, right? You know why you want it. And you even made a plan on how to get there. Listen to episode 5 if you need help with that. But you even know the obstacles that you will have to overcome, things that you must learn, things that you need to stop doing before actually achieving the thing that you want to achieve in your life and in your leadership. Listen to episode 6. But now you're here. Now you're here. Now you already know. You have a plan on how to get there. You're on your way to getting your breakthrough. But now you need to make a plan on how to get past this obstacle that you are confronting along your way of achieving your goal or objective. Now, let's look at a story that most of us are very familiar with, right? It's a young man named David. He was a shepherd who was tasked by his father to take some lunch to his older brothers who were in the army fighting at war. Well, and it appeared, right, that they were fighting until David went and he saw all these soldiers afraid and shaking in their boots. They were being mocked by a giant named Goliath, 9 feet tall, covered in his armor, ready to defeat anyone who got in his way. Until David heard him. The king will give a reward to whoever kills this giant, and David was intrigued, right? He listened as Goliath mocked his people, he mocked his God, and he was ready to fight. I don't know how many have you ever gotten into a fight, but the adrenaline starts pumping, and he knew where he was, what led him there. He knew what he had and what he was good at, and he knew how to overcome this obstacle, this mockery to his nation and to his God. He knew that his God will help him. He knew that he defeated the lions and the bears while taking care of the sheep. And so David went for it. With a stone, with some courage, with a slingshot, he knocked down Goliath and he became the hero in the story. So as you face your own challenges and obstacles in your life and in your leadership, I want you to pause for a moment and look at what you have. Sometimes we focus on what we don't have, and when you focus on what you don't have, it will paralyze you from moving forward. In this stage, I want you to focus on what you do have. I want you to focus on your resources. It may not be much. It may not be what other people have, but I don't want you to worry about what other people have. I want you to worry about what you have. What are your resources? What are your relationships? What are your methods? What's your education in this particular area? What is your experience? And once you identify those areas in your life, I want you to look at what worked before. Now, I understand that certain things won't work in this season that worked in last season. But I want you to look at what worked before, because what worked before could work again. What worked before could work again in your life and can help you get to that next level that you're looking for. It can help you reach your goal, your objective, quicker and faster. And then you have to be willing to go after it. You know, I'm always encouraged by stories of people like Walt-Disney or Madam C.J. Walker or even Martin Luther or even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? Saul of Tarsus, Evelyn Amador. By the way, that's my mom, right? The stories of these people inspire me because of how these ordinary men and women were able to see a problem. They felt a call or a burden and they were moved. They were moved towards achieving their objective and their goal. And they inspire me because they too are human beings who, like myself, have dreams and aspirations. And like yourself, who you have dreams and aspirations, but who also had challenges and obstacles in real life to deal with. And these challenges and obstacles could have easily derailed them and stopped them from pursuing the very things that they were after. Yet they persisted. They grew above their circumstances. They were intentional about their decisions. They were not perfect people, but they learned from their mistakes and they pressed through for a cause and for a dream. So what am I saying? That you too will experience obstacles, and you might be in an obstacle right now as you're pursuing your dream. Maybe for you it's to get out of debt. Maybe you're trying to go back to school. Maybe you're trying to start a business. Maybe you're parenting, and maybe you're just, in the middle of an organization and you're the leader of your department and you're going through some obstacles and some challenges. But once you know that you're going to have challenges, once you know that you're going to have these obstacles, it's going to help you understand that this is a part of the process. And it's going to help you press on and make a decision and not look at the obstacles or the challenges and focus on that, but yet instead focus on the outcomes that you want. Focus on the results that you desire. Focus on the work that you're going to do in order to get your team or yourself out of this situation that you are in. Focus on working towards that objective and that goal that you see in your heart. And this is where you become the hero in your story. This is where you take massive action. This is where you look at the giant in your life, that you look at the giant of circumstance and you say, you know what? You may be threatening me. You may look bigger than me. You may have more power than me. But I'm going to come and I'm going to fight you anyways. I'm going to confront you anyways. I'm going to overcome you anyways. And I'm going to make it anyways. No one is going to lose the weight for you. No one is going to get out of debt for you. No one is going to build your dream for you. You have to build it yourself. You have to start. You have to move forward. You have to lead your life in the direction of your dream. It will not happen by chance. You have to take action like Walt-Disney and create your art even when others say that you're not that creative. You have to sell the hair product like Madam C.J Walker even though you will have competition. You have to share your story and preach the good news like Saul, who later became Paul, and change the world upside down even though you will go through persecution. You will have to get up and get fed up and sick and tired and be willing to pack your bags and move to a place where you have never been, like my mom did, for the sake of providing a better future for herself and her children. You have to be willing to use your history of abuse to impact people like Oprah Winfrey has. And so many other powerful stories of men and women who were able to use what they've been given and the circumstances that they were in and overcome them and making it to their place of objectivity, their goal, their vision for their life. All these wonderful people, they counted the cost of their dreams, but they also paid the price to get to where they are. They were willing to take action and move in the direction of their fears. They added faith plus action equals results, which equals breakthroughs. Faith plus action equals results equals breakthroughs. So as you identify where you are today, as you begin to dissect it on what has led you there, as you begin to dream about where it is that you want to go, where you want your life or your organization to go, and as you figure out why do you want it, why do you want to get there, why do you want to become that, and as you begin to formulate a plan on how to get there, understand that there will be a price that you need to pay, and then be willing to pay it. Be willing to put your faith and action, and that is how you're going to get your breakthrough. So now before we leave and before our time together, I want to ask you this. What is one thing that you can do today to get closer to where you want to be? What is one thing? Not 1,000 things, not 20 things, not what's the problem, not who's going to get in your way, not what you don't have or do have. I want you to identify one thing. Is it to write one more sentence? Is it to apologize? Is it to go for a walk? Is it to make a budget? Is it to eat the salad? Is it to walk away? It's that simple. One thing you can do today. One thing. And that is how you begin to move your life in the direction that you want it to go. It takes time and it takes work. But together we can become a leader worth following. You don't have to remain stuck. You don't have to put up a front. But you can take actionable, practical steps to get breakthroughs and not just accept your life, but lead your life towards excellence and towards impact. Because isn't that what we want? We want to have impact in this world, and we want to impact the people in our lives. I want to thank you for joining me today. Would you please share this podcast with another leader? And I'll see you soon.